first weeks of your teaching career and found yourself in situations where you don't know how to control the kids? Here are some effective tips to win your classes. Hi, it's Eldridge with AHA Slides, helping you win your crowd over easier. So, class noise, the bane of every teacher since the beginning of time, or a class at least. It's the struggle that every teacher has definitely encountered at least once in their teaching lives. So how do we manage this common classroom problem? In this video, we'll talk about some common mistakes we teachers commit, and then some tips we can use in our own classes. Let's jump right into mistake number 1, shouting at the kids. You see, when I first started teaching, I was dealing with a tough group of students. At first, when they didn't do as I asked, I shouted at them. And if still they didn't do what I asked, I shouted even louder until eventually I was shouting at the top of my voice. Jimmy, be quiet! Johnny, please settle down! Everybody, quiet! It did work sometimes, but at what cost? I lost my voice for a week, and you know how hard it is being a teacher without a voice, right? And so yelling or shouting at them not only hurts you, but also gives them the idea that it's more of a battle of loudest voices, rather than the teacher trying to manage the class. And thus, they still ignore us. Mistake number 2, sending bad kids away. We all have done this, sending the bad kids out to the prefect. Alex, get out of my room! Although this may seem a successful strategy on the surface, the message we actually convey to the kids instead is, I can't control you, so I'm going to send you to somebody who can. Well, this only shows that we've lost the battle and lost all credibility as classroom managers. So the question now is this: how can we then control our classes if these 2 common solutions don't work? Don't despair, because here are some tips to improve our classroom management. Tip number 1, confrontational statements. Confrontational statements mean you're talking about the things that are going wrong. Carl, why are you always late? Paul, why are you making so much noise? You're accusing students of doing things wrong, and you're blaming them for it. You're talking about the behaviors that you don't want to see. Don't reinforce that behavior and set a very negative tone toward them. What you want to do is remind students about the things that they are doing right and encourage others to do it right as well. Paul, I'm so glad you're on time, and I can see you have a pen as well. Brilliant. Everyone, line up properly, please. That's great. Brilliant. These sorts of statements are going to reinforce those behaviors that we do want to see. Tip number 2, do the opposite of what they're doing. When students are loud, you stay quiet, do the silent treatment, stand there with a big smile on your face, shoulders back, and you patiently wait for the class to quiet down. They will look up at you and say, is the teacher going to say something? Everybody, let's quiet down. If they're not gonna stop because they're having fun, or if they're laughing, then you make a sad face and ask them, class, do you see? Is teacher happy? No, right? I'm not happy. If when you walk into the class and seems like they're a bit down and tired, you do the opposite. Let's cheer them up and give them a big, bright hello. Tip number 3, call and respond. You need a pattern to interrupt them, to snap them back to reality. So this technique basically is the teacher calling out something, and the students have to say something back, or they have to do some kind of action in reply. Teachers train students from the very first day on using this call and response technique, and they practice 100 times until it is ingrained in the students, so that when you say the keyword, they automatically snap back and do the response. The teacher says, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, and the students reply, 1, 2, eye on you, or the I captain technique. Class, class, class! Yes, yes, yes. and teacher says class, 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 and the students have to repeat it on the same way. You can say it either high or low, or you can say it in different ways, and the students have to repeat it after you. Tip number 4, secret agent. This is a great tool for encouraging participation in lessons and for building class camaraderie. Here's how it works. Each student is given one card on entry to the classroom. This will immediately stimulate curiosity and gives the teacher an effective way to get students settled and listening once they are in the room. The teacher starts with, "I'll tell you what this card is for as soon as you're all quiet." The students write their names on the cards, and that one student will be selected at random to be the secret agent. The teacher can then put the cards in a hat for dramatic effect and pull out one card. Important note though, none of the students must know the identity of the secret agent. Tell the class that as long as this student has a good lesson, the entire class will receive a reward. The beauty of this idea is that because none of the students knows the identity of the secret agent, it usually results in all students trying hard to achieve the stated target. Also, if the student in question does not have a good lesson or reach the target for some reason, they aren't held responsible by the rest of the group. So this little gem not only encourages good behavior and participation, but also promotes teamwork and group cohesion. Classroom management is no joke, and we need every help we can to be successful at it. I hope this video was helpful in keeping your classes under control, yet fun.